Am I more than you bargained for, ghoul? Been 200 years since the bombs all blew.
And I love that line. Is like, I bet your daddy was first in line at the barbecue. It had a big old bib on it with the picture of his neighbor's ass.
Is all the food ass on the surface? Because that's where his mind immediately goes.
You're my new Coca-Cola lady.
Welcome to Fallout Boys, the officially unofficial podcast for Fallout on Amazon Prime. I'm Jim.
I'm A.Ron.
And today we're covering Season 1, Episode 4, The Ghouls. A.Ron, lots of ghouls. Maybe the first time it's tough for me to remember because I've watched the whole series recently, but is this the first time that we've seen other ghouls?
Yes.
Okay, aside from the ghoul. So now what do we call the ghoul?
The ghoul.
That's the biggest conundrum in my notes.
The ghoul.
The ghoul? Okay, we gotta start saying
there
the.
might be lots of Ohio State universities, but apparently there is the Ohio State University, and this is the ghoul. This is the Suicide Squad. Roger's a ghoul, but Cooper's the ghoul.
Martha's a ghoul, but Cooper's the ghoul.
We could call him Cooper. Gooper.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, it's so obvious at this point, right? Like, nobody's still operating under the illusion that this is not the same person. Correct?
I think that doesn't survive the first episode. Honestly, we talked about this. It's like the stupid. But like, if you get to the end of this episode, this is like the fifth step Martin reveal where it's like, seriously, this guy's the same. You get it?
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah. So I'm going to call him the ghoul, or Cooper interchangeably, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think of this episode?
It's great. I thought it's funny watching this episode, watching all these in context and knowing what's coming. This is an episode that does a lot to, I guess, humanize the wasteland. We've only seen things from like Lucy's perspective, and Walter Goggins as the ghoul seems like this uniquely evil guy that is torturing Lucy out there, doing all these things, not following the golden rule. So like running into the Super Duper Mart proprietors and running into other people in the ghoul situation, kind of seeing what the stakes are. It's doing a lot, because before the only thing we had to make the ghoul a real character was his flashbacks. It's like, oh, it's interesting that he used to be this guy, but now he's just kind of like this walking, talking, ass kicking stereotype. Now he's being humanized. He has weaknesses. It's not just all fun and games for him. It's not easy. He's had to, it seems like it's a major accomplishment for a ghoul to last 28 years. And here Cooper's done it for 200. And also starting to peel back the mystery of Vault 32. What the hell happened over there with the kind of bombshell revelation that Lucy and Norm's mom let the Raiders in? And that the Raiders didn't kill Vault 32 is the other clear implication.
A lot of questions around that.
Lots of so it's like, again, this is a slower kind of developing character, but it's slower, but it's not like, I think that the terror that Lucy feels being sold to this medical facility is genuine, and I really like the contrast between the humor of Matt Berry, and God help me, I love Matt Berry. His snip. I gotta think he also probably ad-libbed a bunch of that stuff. Like the last thing he says after Lucy shocks the shit out of him, there's no fudge here. Like, it's just, I want to know how they got him in the booth and just, are you ready, Clem Fandango? I want to see that kind of toast to London, because it had to be so funny. It had to be so funny. What'd you think, Jim?
I agree with all the things you said. I think they're doing a lot of good work here with the ghoul, and the ghouls in general. Like, everything they're showing us about these ghouls is informing us what Cooper could become if he doesn't get his medicine, right? That was pretty good, and shows us the links to which he's willing to go to get that medicine. He'll kill even people he's friendly with. Like, if that doesn't tell you that Lucy shouldn't mess around with this guy, then I don't know what show you're watching. Because he's on first name basis with this other ghoul, Roger.
Yeah. Do you think I want to talk about this more in the episode, but maybe to whet people's appetites? Do you think the ghoul would have robbed Roger had Roger just been chilling there, eating some ass jerky, and he had a couple vials on him? Maybe he's got one vial. He's like, I'm fresh out, but I can't. It's like the same thing Cooper said to him. It's like, I'm fresh out, Roger. And also, do you think Roger, or he would have given Roger a vial if he was riding high? Don't want to talk about it now. This is a little tease for the conversation I want to have with my buddy here.
Yeah, no, I think that is an interesting question. And I think you're supposed to be asking these questions. Like, what kind of guy is the ghoul? After we've seen a little bit of Cooper, who I think is a decent enough guy. I mean, I haven't got a lot of information on him yet, but
seems like a good father. Loving husband, is an actor. Like, how evil can an actor be?
Doesn't seem to have like a big head about that career that he had or anything.
Oh no, Talitha, who lives and works in Hollywood's eyes went wide when I said, how bad can an actor be? I guess, you also have like noted sex cannibals, Army Hammer out there, things like that. Yeah, it can get pretty bad. There's never would have thought there'd be ass jerky being passed around in present day Hollywood, but
yeah, we'll see if Cooper eats any of the modern day ass jerky, but so far so good on his front. So to see how far he's fallen from where he started, and basically at the end of the episode have himself point that out to him, like such good work that they're doing there. And it's a little contrived, right? The idea that the tape would be sitting right there next to the television of his movie. It's like the only one that survived 200 years, so he can play it. A little contrived, but man, it really hammers home the point, especially after seeing all these other ghouls and what they become.
And there's a lot of things. There's a couple things I wondered if it was a stretch like that, but then I thought, okay, the world ends in 1979, and let's say that they had VHS and beta tape already, and it was widely adopted. And Mark Hamill becomes a ghoul and lives 200 years into the future. Pretty damn good chance. I'm just trying to say that's what it looks like Cooper was. He was like this big star of this big series, and it just started. Maybe this is like the prequel.
It's like John Wayne.
Like and it's an exciting new direction for him. And then the world ends. So it's like I could see. If that was the predominant form of pop culture at the time, I could see, it's not like he was like a B star or whatever. But there's a couple things where I was like, I wonder, and I feel like Nolan and Joy did a pretty good job of doing their world building here, because I didn't put much of a fight up anyway.
No, me either. I saw it and I was like, whatever. They're doing such good work on all other fronts. I don't really care. But yeah, I really like that stuff. And the humor and the style of this show just keeps coming through episode after episode and building on itself. Like, I love how grim everything is on the surface, and yet how silly it can be at times too. Like, that ass jerky stuff is hilarious, but so dark. Lucy's finger in this episode is completely messed up, but very funny. All that stuff really gives this show its own kind of fingerprint that I've not seen pretty much anywhere else.
I do think it cuts to tension a little bit, because that's what humor does. Because like you can't take what's happening to, like, you can't seriously think that Lucy's going to get her organs harvested when you got Matt Berry, yucking it up about this won't hurt a bit, and like. It kind of lets the show off the hook, but honestly, that makes the show funner for me. I'm glad this isn't a grim, dark, humorless affair, because I probably wouldn't enjoy watching it as much if I was like have to honestly stress about, oh my God, is this young woman going to get sold into sexual servitude? My God, they're going to harvest her lungs. They're going to vivisect her. It's like, it kind of lets you off the hook a bit.
And at the same time, you never see, and it's why this is so shocking when it does happen on the rare occasion, you never see a primary protagonist maimed in a show. But Lucy gets her finger cut off in horrific detail. Like, it's why Jaime Lannister losing a hand in Game of Thrones was so effective, because you just never see it.
Yeah, and the Fallout universe, you can, because I was like, wow, that's a permanent change they made to the character, but of course.
Yeah.
It might be a permanent change, but all they got to do to get her dressed for makeup is have her dip her finger into some ink and she's good to go. So,
yep. Eat too many blueberries.
Yeah. And that's
one-handed.
Then there's the other. It's like I could start getting worried about like, oh my God, with all this fabulous medical technology, can people ever really die? I'm not going to get too worried about that because, again, I think the show is not that serious. It does have some serious reflections about, the times we're living in and how we feel about corporations and stuff like that. But it's never. Yeah, this isn't like Downfall, man. This isn't like Schindler's List. Mm-hmm. It's not even Jojo Rabbit. It's sillier than that even.
Yeah, it's meant to be a bit of fun. And it is. Yeah. I really enjoyed this episode.
Looks like that mushroom cloud is smaller than your thumb, so you still have time to go to support.baldmove.com to get ad-free podcasts and so much more. Oh, you're back from our cousin stuff, aren't you? Welcome back to the Fallout Boys. All right, Jim, should we get into the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, episode 4 of season 1 of Fallout, The Ghouls, starts with the ghoul and Lucy heading towards a bombed-out settlement with a Westside Medical Clinic. Inside there, we meet Roger, a fellow ghoul, has been wandering the waste for 28 years, but's having trouble coping lately without his meds. The two ghouls commiserate before our ghoul, the ghoul, Mercy kills him. Lucy is disgusted by the ghoul's actions as he immediately begins to consume his former friend.
Yeah, ass jerky don't make itself.
I guess that's another thing is like up to now, I was leading to believe that some of the stuff that they say about ghouls is slander, like they're just bloodthirsty, eating living. They eat live chickens. They can't resist it. And I was almost like ready to be like, oh, they probably aren't even cannibals, but nope. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that like anyone on Topside. I would like to know the people on Topside, the percentage of Topsiders who've eaten human meat, because
right.
If you haven't,
higher than the vaulties,
for sure. It's just meat,
Well, you know what? Now that I've seen Vault 32, I'm not 100% sure it's higher. Vault 32 is pretty messed up.
That's true.
But I like this a lot because this ghoul, showing this new ghoul, shows us where Cooper could end up, right? Like if he doesn't get his meds, this is what he'll become. He'll devolve into essentially a drug addict is what they're going for here. Someone who's deep in the throes of withdrawal and can't control their own mind and body. And it's a pretty pathetic state. We'll see that it gets even more pathetic, right? There's this line, as I understand it, in the Fallout universe between ghouls and feral ghouls. Feral ghouls are the ones that look a lot more like Roger is going to end up here. Just completely mindless. Looks like the ones that they release in the Super Duper Mart.
Yeah.
And then there's the ghouls that have not yet become feral that are, Cooper and it looks like Raj is struggling with at the moment.
Right. And I know there's some lore discrepancies here in the game because I guess, the way the ghouls work in the actual Fallout universe is different. But I'm not a big Fallout fan, and I think this is a brilliant idea. This superhero character, has got like a reverse kryptonite. He's got to have something he keeps taking, a rare resource. It's expensive. Mm-hmm. It's a very video gamey thing too, to give him a quest that he's got to fulfill just to keep his health bar up. Mm-hmm.
That's the side. The side quest he's talking about last episode. Mm-hmm.
By bullshit.
And I love how he's harvesting like every part of the Raj in this. He's taking his teeth. He's eating something out of it. I don't know what he's eating out of him, but he's slicing off fast jerky.
It's that backstrap you're always hearing people talk about. Backstrap. The best part of the long pig. And the other thing I thought is I really liked how, because Lucy kind of comes off badly in here when she, look at who she's talking to. Look at what they are finding here. And she says, back in the plague of 77, something that she wasn't even there for. She's heard secondhand. And it's something that, okay, maybe it was serious, but you guys bounce back. Like, you don't look like you're missing meals. And the ghoul just kind of calls her on her bullshit. And he says, first of all, there's a big gap between what people did and say they did. Because and I love that line, is like, I bet your daddy was first in line at the barbecue. It had a big old bib on it with the picture of his neighbor's ass, like a Red Lobster bib with.
Yeah. Is all the food ass on the surface? Because that's where his mind immediately goes.
It's got, okay. Where do you, I actually haven't looked into it. I haven't researched this, Jim. But if I had to guess what the tastiest part of a human's body is, it would probably be the rump. It's the biggest muscle.
A little rump roast.
Got a lot of, it's well marbled, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I would think it'd have to be like or maybe the stomach is bacony. You get the stomach and rib, get the bacon off of it.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, generally, people on the surface are going to be walking around a lot. Not a lot of vehicles on the surface now. So I have to imagine, like, if you're going to use any of your muscles and develop them into tasty meat, it's probably going to be your legs. Yeah.
Yeah. But they might be gamey for that reason, you know?
Could be. Yeah.
Especially in a wasteland, you get that rad flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vault 33 prepares to engage in some democracy as Reg and Woody campaign for the overseer election, hanging up. It's very, very high school class president affair, reminds me. Betty takes this opportunity to sidle up to Norm and talk about his father and her worries for him as a clever, angry little boy.
Yeah. It's dangerous when clever boys get angry, and tells him to tread lightly. I don't think that he is treading lightly this episode. I think he's doing exactly the opposite. He is the clever boy who wants an answer to his questions. Because he's angry.
Norm's all, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my mom or my dad.
And is how much of that is driven by him feeling guilty? Because he talks about how he hid under the table or whatever in a cupboard during this attack. Is this him just being curious and clever, or is this him wanting to prove that he's not as weak as he feels like he is?
I don't know, because the thing I was thinking of on subsequent watches is, and I wondered this too, because it seemed like there's some efforts to build him into an alternate leader figure. And I see Betty, who has been kind of like the de facto power behind the two empty thrones of Reg and Woody, when she kind of to me, that's telling me that Norm just gave, maybe going forward, one of his chief political rivals a very embarrassing piece of information that, you know, obviously if Norm was going to try to get leadership, it would have to be leaning on the family name, right? The McLeans, and acting in a very un-McLean way. You know, people are going to be there. They want to feel safe. And Norm's already looking like he does, going to be, you know, he doesn't seem like a guy that projects that kind of strength that makes you naturally feel like, this guy can protect us. Strip the dad legacy from him. So I'm worried about that she could, you know, in her kind of grandma way, be like, well, we wouldn't want to support a Norm, you know, as a Norm confided to me that he was off in the supply closet shitting his pants. I don't know. That's what I was worried about. Yeah.
I mean, if Norm is going to make some kind of effort to be a leader in Vault 33, then this information he has about 32 could instill a lot of fear in people. And fear is a powerful motivator for a lot of people. So he could potentially sway a lot of people just with the message that Vault 32 is not what it seemed at first.
Can I say that I'm very disappointed in these, especially Reg's campaign? Woody's got work with Woody. You know, that's a nice alliterative phrase, really. Work with Woody. I like it. And Reg has just got Reg McPhee, vote for whatever. And I'm like,
he needs to be, yeah.
Reg McPhee, vote for me. You got to have something, Reg. All you got is poster board and font. You gotta flash out with some rhyme, some verse. Tippecanoe and Tyler too. I like Ike.
If maybe he could be the guy who legalizes weed in the vault and could be veg with Reg.
Veg with Reg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just chill out. We don't need to be working so hard. What are we training for? I mean, right. it's not as strong of a message now after the attack.
You know what will help us reclaim the surface? Coming up with rolls of trees. Just, we run into some raiders, we smoke them out, treat them like a beehive. Just
and he can prove it works by smoking up these prisoners they have,
Oh, they got hot box.
I bet to be nice and docile.
Hot box the prisoners for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, Norm, looking at this picture of his dad on his Pip-Boy, really took me back to the dawn of the internet, where CGA, even before VGA, CGA graphics, 640 by 200 pixel max resolution, 16 colors. But you couldn't select any 16. No, there was 4 predefined palettes defined by IBM. They all look terrible. Do you want your flesh tones to look good? Wait till you see your blues. But yeah, this is how. Yeah, this is how this and honestly, this kind of looks similar to the quality that you get from like a Game Boy. What was this? The dual screens, the DSs. They had built-in cameras. It's kind of.
Oh, for the photos, sure.
Nintendo did kids dirty, man. Those cameras were such shit quality. Anyway,
I wonder. It's been a long time since I've seen the first Fallout game. Is it roughly analogous to the visual quality of that photograph?
I don't know. I don't. I don't know. Certainly, Wasteland was very close to that.
I bet,
and because that was probably CGA graphics or EGA. Mm-hmm. I don't know. If you played Fallout 1, send us a screenshot. Moving on, the ghoul goads Lucy into drinking contaminated water before he himself collapses into a choking fit. Lucy takes a chance to make a break for it, but the ghoul quickly rounds her up before they exchange amputations.
This drinking irradiated water here, it doesn't affect the ghoul. Ghoul's drinking irradiated water all day. Lucy gags through it, but she's desperate. It's yet another piece in the wasteland is going to turn you into something else motif, right?
Yeah. And you have to survive. Like you can't remain what you are and do the things you have to do to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that means spiritually, but also physically here.
Right. And that's the other thing. He's goading her. Like, how's that golden rule treating you? Are you finding everybody falling over your feet to help you? You seeing there's water clear, and he's like, she asks him, because he's really revealed his horrific side, and she's like, "What are you?" He's like, "I'm just you. Give it time, sweetheart."
And I don't know if I'm reading too much into this. It's quite possible, but I really love what I perceive them as doing here, where Lucy bites the ghoul's finger off, and that's why he cuts hers off. But she's biting his trigger finger off. It's a disarming of him in a way. And you can look at her attitude throughout this episode and throughout her entire interaction with the ghoul as sort of serving to disarm him or attempting to disarm him, right? Like, he's got this trigger finger that is just constantly ready to kill because the wasteland is what the wasteland is. And she's proving over the course of this episode, you don't have to be that way. You don't, it can be a choice. And I think that's why him seeing himself talk about, you can be ugly, you can be strong, or you can have dignity. I'll give you 2 out of 3. I think he's really feeling that at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
And this is like a symbolic way to show it.
The ghoul's Feo no matter what he does. So his character arc is best 2 out of 3. We're hoping for strength and dignity here, folks.
Yeah.
I don't think Goggins is ever going to be handsome again.
Nope.
I love the way she dukes a hazard across that wasteland junk car. You know, she cut in a corner and just slides over the hood. It's pretty slick, pretty sweet. And a line of, again, Walton Goggins, they give him so much great material that like this now, see, here's the closest thing we've had to an honest exchange. Our whole, like, they literally equivalent exchange. Here's a finger. You got my finger. I got your finger.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Stephanie back at Vault 33 drops by to offer Chet, the former gatekeeper, some of her late husband's effects, but she only asked that he try a few on first. Stephanie, seeing Chet poured into Bert's old sweaters, sends her into a frenzy of lust. But unfortunately for Chet, it also sends her into a gusher of water breaking as the very pregnant Stephanie heads right into labor.
Shout out to Dave Register, who is playing Chet in these scenes. My
Who is
God,
this guy?
is he perfect?
I've never
I don't know.
seen him in, okay. I thought you'd seen him in something before. But
but he is magnificent in these scenes.
Good.
This, like, I'm not sure I like any of what's happening, but I am very horny. So let's do this.
Yes.
Is just pitch perfect.
I haven't done cousin stuff in over a month. This hot Cyclops is coming on to me. Her pheromones are pheromoning. And I gotta say, is it? I was trying to think of like what instance. At what level of familiarity you'd have to be with a woman before you can like put your hands between her legs and be like, whoa, you are one wet lady. Like, obviously Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, obviously you can talk about, but like that, I feel like that would just end the encounter before it would like literally dry up like the wasteland.
Mm-hmm. There's no stopping her. This is going to stay about as wet as can be imagined.
Yeah, the floodgates. The floodgates have open. What's your read on Stephanie and Bert? Because clearly she's got designs on Chet here. Yeah. But the weird thing about making him put her husband's clothes on and then running to his arms and being like, is this wish fulfillment? Like she wishes that Bert was like this and she's kind of, and you know, she's a conservative vaulty, or is this... What's going on here? Or did she just want to fuck Chet and this was a less weird? But yeah, how could it possibly be less weird? Hey, here's my dropping off my husband's stuff. Okay, that's a plausible thing to do. Have him try it on, especially when Bert is kind of half the man physically that Chet is. Right.
Yeah, I do wonder if that plays into it. If she maybe... Because... You got to remember, all of these people are placed with their significant others sort of at random, right? They have no idea what kind of pick of the litter they're going to get here.
Well, they'd certainly have even if you could pick from every girl in the vault or every boy in the vault, like what is that? A handful of choices, depending, you know, it's like.
Right. But you don't even get that. You've never even seen the person that you're going to get married to. So, you know, I imagine there's a lot of dissatisfaction in this arranged marriage situation.
Yeah.
At least potential for it. So when a strapping young man like Chet is around, you might be interested.
Why not? The thing he loved, because it's like the thing she's saying about like, oh, the one thing he loved is the shoes. He went on and on about it till the people left the room, and I loved him. So like it's like there's no way I don't know. Lots of people have lots of weird relationships. Maybe a woman can love a man for his fastidiousness about his shoes and how he was so off-puttingly boring talking about it.
Yeah, I got the impression that like she was not that enamored with Bert. This might be just an excuse. But I did love the shoes. Like Chet's holding them, looking at them. Like, lady, these are size 7. I wear a 14. Right. What am I going to do with these? And she asked him, please wear them. And he says, I will try to wear them.
These are big shoes to fill or small. I got big feet to fill. And I also really liked when they start to get hot and heavy. They cut. This is, again, the comedy in the show. They wordlessly cut to a scene, a previous angle where you can see Bert's watercolor, kind of moody watercolor, just staring at the camera as this man's ravishing his wife behind it. It's so, the look, that dude's face is just so funny. Back on the surface, the ghoul swings by Super Duper Mart to swap a prime A1 condition female for a 2-month supply of what I'm going to call ghoul gas for convenience.
All right.
She's quickly assured by the resident medical bot that she's not here to be a sex slave. No, no, no. That's disgusting. You're here to have your organs harvested.
I mean, I was delighted when I first heard Matt Berry. Because it's coming off of several years of seeing him in What We Do in the Shadows and having watched Toast of London and like all these other things. And going all the way back to IT Crowd, man, him being the boss over in that show. I love Matt Berry, and I don't want him to be overused, though. That's the one thing I'm worried about with Matt Berry is that he has a very particular shtick. Mm-hmm. And once that spell is broken, I can't imagine it could ever be unbroken.
It's a pretty good bit, though. And
I agree 100%.
Already found so many ways for it to play. Like, I loved him on Toast to London, where he's this kind of schlubby actor who's mm-hmm. It's everything about Matt Berry is like he's always mysteriously attractive to the eye. I don't think it's mysterious. I think Matt Berry could probably pull with his confidence.
Suave. Yeah.
And he's very suave. Got a great set of head hair. But like he's an immortal vampire in What We Do in the Shadows. He was like an occult surgeon in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. He's the boss, and he's like there's a lot of spectrums that you can get the Matt Berry light stream to break into. And I don't know, like if Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell, for example, had a career mm-hmm. doing the same thing over and over and over again, I think Matt Berry. We're not done with Matt Berry yet.
Right, but then Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell both had like their serious turns, which I feel extended their relevancy a little bit more. I don't know what a Matt Berry serious turn looks like. I might like to see it, but I really can't picture it.
Yeah, it'd be delightful, I'm sure. But goddamn, Matt Berry, so funny.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, the comedy here is obviously this Lucy gets here expecting to be sold into sexual slavery, and she's got this very genteel robot that's all about, oh, there, oh, you've lost a finger, that won't do, and you know the whole finger inventory. He's just got a room temperature cabinet that he keeps a bunch of fingers in, and apologize for the state. Our finger inventory is really bad. You're lucky I didn't have to use a thumb.
All different colors and shapes too. There's one that looks like it's part thumb and part finger. Like somehow that whole section of the hand got sliced off. Like your two fingers and thumb got just blown off your hand, and if you might need a whole hand graft. And that's also gives us this, you know, the medical technology, because this should not be possible. You've got a necrotic finger that you just stitch onto someone and it's immediately useful. Like the nerves immediately reattach. Like that's miracle technology. But yet they're stuck with black and white televisions. Yeah, and I do believe it thanks to the stim packs that they've showed us before and their healing capabilities. I believe something like this is just possible.
Right. And then everything leads it because, like, you know, once he's done, he's like, would you like, you know, comforting cotton, synthetic, or a comfortable blend of, and she just can't believe it. She's like, you got real cotton? He's like, of course you don't. And she thinks like, the ghoul's wrong. I have found another pocket of civilization where the golden rule, I haven't done anything. This guy's just fixing me up. And then she finds out.
It's such a silly thought, though. Like, why would the ghoul bring her to a place that is just meant to fix her up and meet her human needs? What about his behavior before this had told you he would do that, right?
Right. Did you think that he's trading Lucy low? Like, I feel like a 2-month supply of ghoul gas seems cheap because, like, he's selling her short by saying is a mint condition female. Like, that's implying that you could have some ugly hag that, you could probably breed with her or whatever, but, you know, she's got this gal is beautiful, She's intelligent. She can read and write. Like, she's so far above what you could like what the person's conception of pristine female could be up here, that I feel like. But then again, if you need your medicine to live, like, that's precious to you. But like, what is the exchange rate for ghoul gas? How could Roger afford 28 years of it? How has Cooper afforded 200 years of it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's a big question about how long he was buried and, who his, I guess, patrons were during that time, donating all of this ghoul gas to him.
Yeah.
But of course, it felt a little low to me. But then again, you could probably grab some woman and haul her back here once every 2 months. I see that as being highly plausible. Shit, you could probably spend a month and a half just chilling and then grab another in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, if Lucy gets you 2 months, what does a 3-armed, one-eyed, straw-haired, beef jerky hag get you? Like, is that like a half vial? You can have a 1/4 portion. Like,
yeah, what does a Martha get you, right?
Yeah. Martha, you owe them vials to take her off your hands.
She's just so annoying. All she says is, "My name is Martha. My name is Martha."
Yeah. I just got one last thing with Matt Berry. I love the patter where he's sorry for the mess. I've lost track of time. My chronological sensors stopped working during the war. Must have been over a week ago. This is really, really funny. His voice is just funny, man. You don't even have to give him good lines. You give him good lines, watch out. Mm-hmm. Back at Vault 33, Norm goes to their prison and confronts one of the raiders who massacred Vault 33. And the raider throws it back in his face saying, "You think we're bad? You don't know what we saw in Vault 32. This makes Norm decide to recruit Chet to investigate. And once they dig through the rubble, they find the grizzled remains of Vault 32's long dead inhabitants.
Okay, I got a big important question for you. I know that up in the wasteland, like we've seen the ghoul do, they use every part of the cow, right? Every part of the buffalo.
Uh-huh.
Here, down in the vault, they seemingly use every part of the jello cake. Is this the same jello cake from the attack that they are using to feed these prisoners? Because I love the irony there. That's something really nice, like feeding them with the cake that they destroyed. But how long has it been since the attack, and how long does jello cake stay good?
I don't know the answers to any of those questions, because like my recollection of jello starts to liquefy in a refrigerator within a couple of days, but maybe that's just because mom never knew how to get the gelatin mix right or heat it up right. I don't know. But yeah, I would think, I mean,
it's not
jello
cake.
Gelatin. Jello cake was something that people thought was a good idea in the 70s because Tupperware molds came out and they're like, look at all the things you can put. I shit you not, hot dogs and olives into a pleasant. I was like, some of that shit is wild. So I don't know. It could be a leftover. But I thought the idea was like, no, they're just making them cake. They just made a big, if we get dessert, they get dessert too.
But it looks like it's destroyed to me. It just looks like a pile of mush almost. But this lady loves it. She wants to put it all in her fridge.
Yeah, that's right. She takes the whole. He's like, "Can I have?" And she takes the whole thing. So score for her, huh? Also, really funny. Norm going to Chet's house and like Stephanie is there in full labor, just screaming, and people between her legs. And from Chet's perspective, he's sulking and he doesn't know what his place in the vault, his status as a man. He's missing Lucy, and then the hot Cyclops comes and he thinks he's going to get and suddenly. He's deputed the father of this child, I guess. He's like,
guess.
This is not how he thought his day would go when he woke up. And yeah, the fact that he's like, yes, I will go to Vault 32 rather than stay in here.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the grisly deaths, my favorite one was the guy who was stabbed through with a rod of foosball dudes.
Jesus.
because I love, it's like the idea you got a lance of like the foosball table, or if you don't know what foosball is, it's this table soccer essentially, where you got all these handles and these dudes are attached at the shoulder and you flip them and you try to flip the. Just stabbing someone with that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Did it make it through? So I don't remember seeing this. Did it make it through with the guys intact?
No. It looked like it stabbed through. It was like, because there's one rod that's got two defenders. It looked like it was that one, and it was stabbed through to his chest with like, yeah. I guess
you got to get it off the table, which is not easy. They got those rubber
in, because you're as you play foosball, you're essentially trying to stab the other person with your rods, and they got rubber bumpers, so you can't. Like that's a lot of malice. And it happened a long time ago. This was not, we even wondered that in the first episode, like when did the Raiders raid? Have if they raided in the last decade? That's what it looks like to me. Like this thing has been at least empty a decade.
I mean, they say that the last biosignal in 32 was detected 2 years ago. I assume that's reading from the Pip Boys. So minimum 2 years, I think.
Do you think the devastation?
Kind of find out what happened.
Yeah, I guess like I was trying to think of like how because like once a corpse rots to like the mummy stage, it can last that way for a good long time, especially if there's no moisture or you're in a controlled environment where there's no insects and whatnot. Because I thought they'd be dead for a lot longer than 2 years just by looking at the state of the place, but
yeah. And also the famine, it seems. So there's this scene where they're kind of looking around and all the TVs are still on, which I don't even want to think of the power bill, but they're showing this experiment that they're doing on mice that are in a maze, and when they can't get out, they'll turn on each other as they get more desperate and eat each other to survive. Right. And I get the impression that that's what happened here. So you had the wheat crop that went awry, and there was famine in Vault 32, caused each other to turn on the others, and in desperation to survive, just like the mice, they were eating each other potentially. That
this, and also like you say something, you hear someone say lab rat, and you immediately think scientific experiment, right? That so they're clearly analogizing these Vault 32 dwellers, that they were, at least putting that in their head, the context are they being experimented on, or was this a result of a famine? They're trying to do creative things, but whatever happened, it looks like they turned on each other, because there's literally, there's like this famous fossil of a velociraptor in a death grasp with like a triceratop or something they got for literally that in human form. These people died. How does that happen? You choke each other to death simultaneously at the exact same time. Incredible timing.
Yeah,
because I imagine
maybe there was a third assailant and they were just having fun, right?
Oh, yeah. They were in the middle choking. He came and shot them both. That would work.
Yeah, but I do think it's a little bit of a parable here, as much as the wasteland and what you have to do to survive up there is this vault became essentially a wasteland. Starvation, the inability for everyone to survival of the fittest kind of thing. And look what happened. We turned on each other. We started killing each other just to survive. That's what we are.
People started showing up with bibs with their neighbor's ass on it, and it was all over. Yep. And, in case you haven't gotten the point, they underline it with someone scribbling in blood. We know the truth, letting us know that there is a truth to be known and we don't know it. So,
right.
Mystery. Up top, I guess down below. Up topper than the vault, down belower than the ghoul. Lucy manages to escape the murderous medical robot trying to harvest her organs, and then demands the proprietors of Super Duper Mart let her go, or she'll pump them full of Super Drano. They relent, but balk when she insists on letting all their prisoners go, including all the ghouls, including Martha. We've said Lucy's wretchedly naive. Did she not understand what was happening with Roger there when the ghoul... Lenied him. Look at the rabbits, George. that and because even Roger's like, you guys should clear out, you know, while I still have control or things are going to get ugly. Like, you know, but I guess maybe she sees and I love how all these people are imprisoned in like freezers, you know, like department store freezers. She must think that these people are all here innocent like she is. And she knows one ghoul. Maybe she doesn't want to prejudge all ghouls, but I mean, the I am Roger, I am Martha part of it, and the growling. That's the no preservation instinct on these Vaulties, man.
Yeah, no, she's relentlessly altruistic, and it might get her killed up here. We don't know.
Yeah, I also love how, because like, I love how video gaming gamey her escape was. Like, I don't know how many times as a protagonist I've started a game strapped to some kind of gurney on some kind of conveyor belt that's going to eventually lead to my being Borgified or dissolved and what do? You gotta do a quick time event to see if you can get your handcuff into the laser beam, or, you know, she is a little bit of a combat ace, so she kicks the robot saw and lets her free. And then how you can't get more video gamey than taking a defibrillator and shocking a circular saw to destroy a robot. Because like, that's one thing I love about video games is they go by video. Like if I was in a situation, I saw a defibrillator that was interactable, I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm going to shock the shit out of this. Probably wouldn't work in real life, but electricity plus robots equals bad. I
could see it. Yeah. Right.
I also get pissed
touching the right thing
when I'm playing a game where they have a setup of like, you know, you're in a cargo bay and it's deep space and there's this prominent thing where you could open it and you're like, oh, they want me to open up this cargo and blast everyone out to space. I could fight these 30 stormtroopers, but and then the button is inoperable. I'm like, what? I get pissed when they present me with video game logic and I can't do the logical thing.
Yeah, it strikes me as very adventure game. Like, combine this item with this item and use it on this item, and something will happen.
Yeah, like, how do you take it to proprietors? Well, you have this damaged medical robot with a trank gun. Reload his tranks with Drano, and...
right. Abraxo.
Can I ask, there's one thing I thought was hella awkward. Lucy's trying to reason with Martha. Martha's not capable of it. Lucy throws herself backwards, and there's just one angle where it's like everything was kind of following, like, okay, I'm over her left shoulder, I'm looking at her left shoulder, and then suddenly when she jumps, the camera goes extreme to the side, and the ghoul is no longer jumping right. It was a weird insert. Why was it weird, and why did they do it that way? Did you notice it, or am I just a crazy man?
I didn't actually like clock it, but something felt off in that scene about the momentum of Martha, and I think you might have actually pinpointed what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's fix it in post kind of thing. Like, they didn't get the shot they needed, so CG it.
They got this thing called jumping the line, where it's like, if you got two people in front of you, person A is to your left, person A is to your right, you shouldn't just abruptly move the camera to the other side of the room and film a person from a reverse angle, because it, you know, like, there's this language of cinema, and we kind of all agree that our eyes are kind of, and we have a perspective, and when you throw people out of that perspective, it can be jarring. And Christopher Nolan does it all the time in the Joker race, or the Joker escape, you know, where they're trying to track the mobile thing through the Warrens, and he's jumping over the line, doing all kinds of things. And I never could tell, is that because he just couldn't get the angle he wanted, or he's deliberately trying to make us feel uncomfortable or askew because the Joker is trick. This just felt like, I don't know, maybe it's a safety issue for the stuntman. They wanted to use a real blank, and you can't point a real blank gun. I don't know, but it was a little awkward. The only awkward thing I've seen in the show so far.
Yeah, I agree. This show is very fluid most of the time.
Again, Matt Berry, he's just babbling incoherently when he's being shocked, and then as he's collapsing, there's no fudge here. So funny. Back in Vault 33, well, actually 32, Chet and Norm make it all the way to the Vault 32 Overseer's office and find the vault was open from the outside, using Norm and Lucy's mother's Pip-Boy. What? What?
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Which raises several questions. Is she still alive? One, because I think she's dead. That's one potential. The other potential is she is dead and they just, the raiders took it from her, maybe even killed her, or maybe they have her held hostage somewhere, right? Just because it's his mom's Pip-Boy doesn't necessarily mean his mom is alive. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
So I was going through this first time, and maybe these theories are correct because they're on the screen, or maybe they're wrong. But I thought, as I was watching this real time, they're like, oh, it's the Pip-Boy. I'm like, oh, they don't know that you can get Pip-Boys on the surface. Like, we went to Ma June's supply store. Like, they're not impossible to find. And like, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to lead them, to some kind of wild goose chase or something. But the other possibility is maybe she's alive and she's working with the other side. And maybe Hank told this story to Lucy and Norm to make their mom seem like a tragic hero rather than a fallen villain,
Yeah, so there's a shot in this episode that I think is Lucy remembering her childhood with her mother. But I don't know that it's given any context here. That's just how I read it. And I think that's a smart shot to include, because one of the other questions I have at the end of this, when we find out this is his mom's Pip-Boy, is Moldaver his mother? And he just doesn't know it, doesn't realize it. Maybe he was too young when she left or something like that. Because she's like the leader of the group that broke in here. Why wouldn't it be her Pip-Boy, right? So I think it's smart of them to show that woman, who definitely doesn't look like Moldaver, to let us know that that's probably not the case. Yeah. Assuming I'm reading that scene right, because it's very out of context.
Correct. But it's a big mystery. We don't know what's going on down there.
Time for an ad break. You got two choices: Vault Text Plan D, or go to support.baldmove.com to get ad-free episodes. And we're back with more Fallout Boys on Bald Move.
There's a lot of grisly stuff down here. I really thought all the vaulties hung up by their neck, swinging their dead, and all their Pip-Boys are still on, but they're showing like a skull and crossbones, like no life signs thing. And the overseer is strapped to his chair. Looks like he's got one hand free. It's been taped with a bunch of sharpened pencils or something. Like, someone tied him up there and like, okay, you son of a bitch, the only way out is you stabbing yourself to death. I don't know. He looks like he's got like an almost grin on his face, like a shit-eating grin, but that could be Death Rictus.
Sure.
And then in blood behind him is written Death to Management. So was the overseer persecuted wrongly? Is this all their fault? Is this... Or is there overseer the first one that went crazy and they tried to restrain him?
Sure. All good questions. The other question I have is, why is there so much glue on his desk? Like, was he being tortured with this wonder glue?
Oh, man. Oh, how would you torture someone? Oh, I already thought of a couple ways.
Glue their eyes shut.
Yeah.
That seems horrific.
Fill their urethra full of it. Then they're done for.
Yeah, renal failure.
I read that I think Pablo Escobar actually did that to people. That was like one of his favorite things to do.
Oh my god!
Or maybe it was Saddam. Somebody glued people's pee-pee shut, and they died in a bladder explosion.
Shit? My god,
dude, like, you ever? Oh god, the man's history of torturing man.
I've seen 10 movies called Saw, and I couldn't come up with that shit.
That'd be so funny if the puppet rolls in. You might wonder what the problem this room is. May I suggest you check your willy? Oh my god, what's this? It's got some kind of heart. I can't.
Wonder.
Will you rip the jagged piece of cyanoacrylic glue from your urethra, or will you die of burst bladder?
Jeez.
I think I'd die of burst bladder. You're just like done for. You can't. Anyway, I don't want to
pick
think
at
about
it.
it too much.
I'd try. I'd see how it felt first, but eventually, yeah, I think I'm with you.
Quick. Is nail polish remover, acetone? Is there anything in here?
Debonder. Yeah.
Debonder. Anyway, let's move on before we think about it too much.
Oh, one more thing about this scene.
Yeah.
The Pit Boys on these people's wrists are still active after minimum 2 years.
Yeah.
Nuclear powered tech, right? Like
Maybe?
magic 1950s nuclear tech.
I mean, I guess... I don't know. We were powering spacecraft with atomic radiators, and those were not... So it's like, but I guess you could get it small enough. Or maybe their battery technology is just really good. Maybe their circuits are really efficient. They're like running a superconductor, so you're not getting any waste heat or something. But they're really good at moving energy around, it seems like.
Yeah, crazy.
Back at the Super Duper Mart, Lucy emerges from inside, bloodier and dressed for battle. She gives a sermon to the ghoul about following the golden rule before tossing him some ghoul gas and leaving while he's still incapacitated. Once the ghoul manages to recover a bit, he heads down to the mart and gorges himself on the leftover drugs. Then, finding a video recording of his old western, The Man from Dead Horse, he sits down and watches his former on-screen glory. I didn't think it was coincidental that he found the tape. I did think it was coincidental he found the tape and he put it in the movie right at the climactic moment where he says feo formal and fuerte. Like, bull. Be kind, rewind, number one. Number two, if you're not, what are the odds that they would have it queued up to the most iconic part of the movie and not, I don't know.
And the most personally relevant in the moment. Yeah, it's a lot to swallow, but honestly, yeah, I was fine with it because it is such an interesting confrontation here between his former self and his current self, especially right off the heels of Lucy proving that she is unbroken by the wasteland. She walks out of here, even though he has stabbed her in the back, been awful to her, cut off her finger. She hands him the life-giving medicine that he needs to keep from becoming a monster. And I think he's got to take some of that to heart. Like, I am becoming a monster, and it's not just because I'm a ghoul. It's because I've given in to what the wasteland has presented me with.
Yeah.
And the idea that this scene also, in its context, we saw him like arguing about this scene with the director, right? Where,
yeah, he didn't like it.
Yeah, he didn't want to kill this guy. He didn't want to shoot him. And ultimately we see he does in the movie.
Yep.
And so he made that compromise. That was the first compromise of really many that have come in the subsequent 200 years. And I think it's just really brilliantly written at the end of this episode. And
the Lucy, because that's what a lot of people, it's the villain always taunts the hero. I'm thinking of, what is it, Sirach and the guy who's Indiana Jones's arch rival in the Raiders Lost Ark, where he's like, you and I are but a shadow reflection. Just, you just need one push to go over the line. And Return of the good guy's like, well, I haven't yet. But the bad guy's like, well, you haven't been tested like I have. Well, here, Lucy has the ghoul right at her mercy. She doesn't even have to she doesn't have to pull the trolley switch to kill him. She just has to walk away. And she still does the right thing, even though if he gets stronger, you got to think that the first thing he's going to do is go try to fight, grab her, right? Reacquire her. Yeah. So she's putting her money where her mouth is. It's a bold, and that's the thing. It's like, I don't know if this is the smart play for the wasteland. Like, I think the golden rule, it has to have a functional society with people bought into the system and a stable rule of law to work. Because otherwise you get people being like, whoa, so there's I can just do anything. But it shows that she's not a hypocrite, and she believes in this so much that it's so wretchedly heartbreaking naive. Like, I can change the whole wasteland just with the power of my personal example. But I do admire it. Absolutely. And my question is, do you think it will bring about a change in the ghoul before this is all said and done? I feel like that they're it's too delicious a thing not to pull off this whole feo fuerte formal. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And having that instead of being like a shine on for a guy you're about to kill, have it be like, well, I don't have my looks, but I do have my strength and I do have my dignity. Mm-hmm. And 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That as a summation of his, if he can die with his boots on with a white hat, maybe. Does he live? Does he die? Who knows? But seems like a plausible character arc for him.
Yeah.
Did it bother you that Lucy is wearing this gladiator shoulder pad pistol harness combo wrong?
I didn't even notice.
Like, clearly that leather pauldron is designed to sit on her shoulder, and it's embarrassingly in front of her shoulder and like not following the curve as correctly for a lot. And I've seen the next episode. I know it's still fucked up. Eventually they get it to where it's put together right, but I can't believe maybe that it's an intentional thing that like Lucy has no idea how to look like a badass. She finds this thing. It's a holster. She needs something to hold her gun, but she's like, I don't know how this thing
keep an
works.
eye out for her looking at the way other people are wearing their holsters.
But I think it's like just a form follows function. It's like, how does this fit? This my round shoulder goes into this round piece of shoulder pad. She looks badass. Like, it's such a great. She actually probably looks like a main player character in Fallout a couple hours into the adventure. You haven't found any better armor. You found some leather armor, but you're still wearing your vault pants and maybe you're missing a shoe.
Oh, right. She's missing a boot. Forgot about that.
Like she started upgrading, but she's got a long way to go.
I like it. The other thing I like, and I'm like, this is one of those things where I'm like, you're such a dummy. What are you doing? It's when the ghoul goes into the super duper mart and he notices, oh shit, there's all of this medicine for me, this ghoul gas, and starts just chugging it and spilling it down his face and his chin and wasting so much of it. It's such a precious commodity. I just like, what are you doing, man? That's always a bugaboo I have when, I've got the scarce resource, and when someone finds like a whole bunch of it, their anything is like, I'm going to wash my feet with the chocolate pudding I just found because I got so much I can never run out. It bothers me. But then again, the other thing that I noticed is, the ghoul said that's a small drop in a very large ocean of drugs. He's not just going for the ghoul gas, man. If there's a pile of powder, he's snorting it. If there's a syringe of drug, he's shooting it. If there's a bottle of booze, he's drinking it. Is there a level of like, he's got to keep the ghoul gas going, but he also wants to keep a level of fucked up or being fucked up to where he can kind of disassociate from what he's doing? Maybe that's not a bad take. Cause he's sniffing things off old coffee filters and stuff. So. And does he get like, the other thing I wondered, because, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would waste a vital substance like that. Can you get supercharged off of it? Like, there's a level that you need to, keep your vitals up and keep your brain from turning to feral mush. Okay. Mm-hmm. But maybe if you go over that, it's like a super drug. It like pumps you up. I was wondering, I was watching this first time. I was like, I wonder if he is, from a weakened state trying to supercharge himself so he can go and, chase after Lucy or engage in combat or something. Clearly he's been low for some time. So maybe he's got to top himself up. Yeah. I don't know. I'm as much as this is about the ghoul and ghoul culture, there's a lot of question marks there. Yeah, I guess two things to follow on to that. One is this feels very human. Two, where we find a resource that seems inexhaustible. We can't imagine ever going through it. And so we rush through it as fast as possible. And are surprised when, we found the bottom of that well. And B, is this the show telling us that going forward, this medication is no longer going to be an issue? We're not going to be concerned with it because he has an effectively endless supply. And we'll just assume that his backpack is always full of this stuff. That's a good, because like a 2-month supply implies that, unless there's a time jump,
yeah, you probably shouldn't have to worry about it.
Well, that was what they were willing to trade, but this is everything.
That's what I'm saying. So. Like, it's at least a 2-month supply.
Yeah.
Plus, but the thing is, like, they didn't look at their 60 vials there. The other thing is, like, we've seen him break them. They're glass vials. So that's one of those things where it could be an easy come, easy go situation where, you know, he's wasteful and profligate. And then, oh, shit, I wish I still had those 3 vials I shotgunned in Super Duper Mart.
I guess it's them saying, we're not going to think about this until the next time we want to think about this. And then we will, right? Don't think about it until the next time we bring it up.
I want to talk, because we talked about last episode that, like, Cooper is noticeably less ghouly, like the ghoul seems like Cooper when he's acting, when he's the man with the dog or the man from Dead Horse. And my impression of that is even further when he's watching them. And I was just watching, Walton Goggins giving one of these all-time laconic Southern drawly cowboy performances, and he watches himself kind of settle into that role. It does feel like he kind of faked it till he made it. And he's got some legit cowboy skills, too. We saw from the first episode, he can rope and ride, maybe do a little bit of cowboy action shooting, but I wonder how much of that's a theme, too, that this is a guy who's played a role for so long to keep himself safe. And I also would like to know what Lucy was asking this episode. Why are you still doing this? Why live? Cooper Howard walking around as a shambling corpse with no daughter, with no wife, no companions? What the hell is he doing? Why don't you just lay down and die? Because that's the thing. It's like people would be like, well, when you were saying you always have a choice, people are like, well, what if you don't? What if it's between death and cannibal? You always got the choice to die as a dignified human. You don't. I'm not just saying I'm judging people for doing horrible shit to survive.
Right.
But like, that is a choice we all have
too. But yes, you can choose to subvert that.
We can be like, this is not any kind of living that I want to be a part of. But yeah, then a more good person in the world is going to die and leaves more room for the bad people. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But it is a valid question, right?
Yeah.
Why does he continue to do this?
Does he have a mission, or is it just literally, like you said, the drug addict, where it's like, I am just on for the next fix. I just want to obliterate myself and numb myself and just keep doing that. But
I don't know. I hope we get to find out more, because I will say he's a fascinating character thus far.
Sure is. Very entertaining, too. That's going to do it for this episode of Fallout. Now is the time where we're going to consider Fallout feedback. Fallout at baldmove.com. Of course, if you'd like to get ad-free feeds, bonus content. We had a super long off the clock last episode where we did a scary movie roundup, the spooky stuff Jim and I have been watching. We did a deep dive in Peacemaker season 2. Lunch with Jim and A.Ron every Fridays. If you want stuff like that, go to support.baldmove.com and find out how you can get plugged into the great, wonderful, awesome Bald Move community. Fallout at baldmove.com is how you send feedback. Before we get there, again, this is the spoiler section. We do not intend the feedback to be for first timers. If you're a Lucky Lucy, if you're a Vaulty, if you're a Virginia Vaulty, you're too inexperienced for this section. You need to go wander the wasteland a bit, at least 4 more episodes worth, before you can come back. I want to talk about what we kind of hinted around here with the Plague of 77, with the Vault 32, with the lab mice. As promised, I finished this season.
Nice.
And it seems like what they're suggesting at the end here, again, slash chance, better not be here for a spoiler, is that they're suggesting that the Vault overseers were obviously these executives. This is one of the good vaults, or maybe the executives were doing some kind of eugenics program, that they were trying to breed the perfect overseer and also maybe the ultimate consumer. And I couldn't help but notice when they're starting to repopulate Vault 32 and 33, it seems like they're sticking all of what I would call, the problem people, or the ones that have like a functional brain or ask questions, that they're keeping them at 33 and sending everyone else at 32. Is this something they do every generation? Like, well, the vaults are full. We got a couple bad apples, a couple of dum-dums, a couple sterile people, throw them all in one vault so that we can then have the stronger gene lines breed and progress, and then we'll kill the weaker ones off with a famine or something. And then just every generation or so, engineer a natural disaster where the population goes down by half. You got to repopulate the vote or the vault, rinse, repeat as necessary until you get the perfect human being.
Yeah, potentially. I could see that as being possible. I mean, there's this interesting chicken and egg thing that I think stays true all the way to the end of the season with Vault 32, which is, did the famine happen first? And that was the cause of the people, raiding management and finding out about this problem, or, this plan, or do they find out about the plan and then the famine was like management's way of trying to deal with it? Did they cause that intentionally? I don't think we really have those kind of clear answers there, but yeah, I mean, all of this stuff is just hinting at the fact that this and seemingly every vault is some kind of experiment.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what the experiment. Yeah. Like you said, it could be engineering people to think or be a certain way, but this could be some other experiment. Because as I recall, we don't really know whose idea ends up in these vaults, because we get that executive meeting, right? Where everybody's like, oh, what if we, I don't know, fed everybody hamburgers the entire time? And what would that do? They just had these crazy ideas of what they could do with a vault.
Yeah. What if we let scientists run a vault?
Right. Yeah. Is that this one? Because we do see that, like, they are very proficient at certain things.
So there's a couple possibilities. We know that Cooper, what's keeping him going is he's trying to find his family. He thinks that there's a chance. And what does that mean to him? Mm-hmm. We also know that from Barb that there are good vaults for management. Right. We also know that Vault
31s, right?
Well, I was going to say that these are not connected necessarily, but we also know Vault 31 has a bunch of flunkies from Vault Tech, and that they're taking turns essentially being bosses and suspended cryo animation and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Is that a good vault? Because, like, if it's a good vault, I'm looking for, where are the descendants of Walton Goggins? Could Betty be one of his descendants? Could Woody be one of his descendants? I'm looking at the mixed race individuals. Or is it like the executives? There's actually a paradise vault where everything is set up to cater to the executives, and then you've got this where this is their job. Because I noticed that Hank is a low level employee at the end of the season. So is this like a shit vault that they were like middle management to do this like breeding stock project for the big vault, and we haven't seen the good vault yet? Or is Vault 31 the good vault? And because the thing is, by the end of the season, you think Barb is a complete monster. She could justify anything.
Sure.
Like her and Cooper and
conversations you've overheard with her are shocking.
Yeah. Her and Cooper and Janie living in this thing where they're literally parasitizing the other vaults. I could see her being fine with and being like, well, what do you'd rather be on the surface? You'd rather be, and also even justifying.
This is for our daughter, right?
And also they die once a generation, but they would have had a shit life. And it's like the same things you say about why it makes you feel okay to eat a cow. They got to run around in the grass and they're well cared for. I imagine there weren't any cruelty practiced on these animals
And that sentiment is why I personally think Vault 31 is a good vault. Because what I imagine the plan here is for them to just press the fast forward button, get to a society that lives up to the Vault Tech promise without all the riffraff on the other side of this war, and then be woken up to a perfect paradise world that they can rule because they're the ones who brought it about, right? Like,
right. But
that's
they also
why I think
need
31 is the perfect vault.
they're smart enough to realize it's like, well, we need some underclass people around because like who's going to service our mimosas and rub our feet and cook our food and clean out our shitters, right? That's like a lot of these vault people are smarter than a lot of it feels like wealthier folks. They're actually thinking about, what if we didn't have a lower class? My God, one of us would have to be the butler.
Well, they have Snip. What do they need with us?
But it seems like there's two. That's why I kept going. There's two twin projects here to preserve the brain trust and make the ultimate executive, but also breed the perfect consumer that will just blindly consume and accept whatever and thinks it's a privilege to serve and believes that people are their betters, and they're trying to get progressively more outside the box and angry young boy type of people that could be an executive, and then they're also trying to get the servile cattle.
It's interesting that they teach them classic philosophy, because I would think that would be fairly incompatible with the perfectly servile consumer attitude that they might be wanting here.
Maybe that's how they select it. The people who are really into philosophy get big into it. Like they earmark for either executive or culling, and then the people who are resistant to the marketing or think it's stupid or whatever, they can either be culled. So like I said, it's eugenics, and they got 200. How many in 200 years? That's like what, 10 generations, 10 to 8 generations. That's a lot of animal husbandry. You could imagine start playing with people's genetics, and it's such a small population. Yeah,
and the idea that you're blind marrying these people, and someone has selected who's going to be married and produce offspring. I never just straight up genetics.
I will say that I didn't understand that everyone's marriage was arranged to a blind vault swap. I thought that was like what you apply for if you can't find a match because you're too closely related to cousins and all that kind of stuff. But either way, I think, and I had not thought that's part of the eugenics project, that like or maybe they rig it to where when you have a really attractive, intelligent, go-getting individual, they're like, we can't have them breed into Chet or whatever. We gotta breed him to our prime breeding stock over on 33. So
yeah,
that's another layer, perhaps.
Thing is apt, the cattle comparison.
All right, that's all the thoughts I had. Did you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, there's a few things I want to talk about that are a little spoilery. I sort of like when Cooper talks about with Raj, how Raj asked him like, how have you survived all this time for so long? He says, well, I've always been good at making money, which to me is a reference back to his Vault Tech compromise, which he's then, and his film career compromises that he's made in order to have that career he had, that he's then going to be presented with at the end of the episode. I like that. We haven't seen a lot of that yet, but they're really going to fill his character out through the course of the season. I
mean, that's a great take, that like he hasn't been good at making money because he's got good economic sense. He's been good at making money because he's always been able to like twist which way the wind is blowing, and he never can't quite make that stand that his other, like Cadillac Bob obviously did, that got him on the wrong side of whatever red scare they got going on. That he's morally flexible, and that's how he got from Cooper to where he is now. That's a good, real good take.
And it's funny when you contrast and compare Matt Berry's character in this show, because we're going to see him as a human being, which is nice, but he sells the likeness to his voice, the rights to his voice, off to this robot for peanuts. I mean, nothing.
Literally.
And Cooper is like shocked that he sold it for so little. So there's a big disparity there between how good he is at making money and how poor Matt Berry is. The other thing, we know the answer to the question, why keep going? He's trying to find his wife because he's incredibly pissed off at her still after 200 years. And he knows that she's out there in a good vault somewhere.
One of the good vaults.
So that's what he's doing. He's on a mission to, I assume, kill her.
Yeah, I thought there's still a sign that he might be looking for what happened to his daughter, too, even though he's last seen with her and we speculated last episode, and maybe he was trying to ride to a nearby shelter. But also maybe Cooper didn't fully understand what a good shelter, bad shelter meant. So like maybe he took her to the first shelter and it's one of the bad shelters. And that's why. I mean, maybe. Obviously, he's got enough reason to be pissed at his wife, feel utterly betrayed. Like,
oh, yeah. She saw like humanity.
It's like being married to a vampire and you didn't know it. Like, you know, it's like it's they see you as pet. You know, it's like, oh, I thought we had a love. No, they're just using you to get by. But that that add even more spice if, you know, his wife engineered a system that destroyed their little girl in some kind of uniquely horrifying way. But I'm just still holding out hope now that we know there is rejuvenation, there's cryo tanks and there's all kinds of other stuff. Like I am wondering if Janie's going to come back into it.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's interesting. Like once you've seen the series and go back to those first scenes with Cooper, those flashbacks, how he has his daughter there at the party. But it's after he's heard all this stuff that his wife has said. And so are they split up? Are they like, did he confront her with that information? Like we don't quite know yet, but season 2, I'm sure is going to illuminate that more.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like weird. Like, are they divorced? Are they estranged? Are they separate? It's like, but you know, I can't imagine that Cooper would want to tell his daughter, you know, Mommy's one of those Joseph Mengele types. She's she's kind of Nazi, kind of. Yeah. I don't know how do you you know, when I got divorced, it's one of the things Indiana does. You take this parent to class on co-parenting. One thing they stress is, no matter what the circumstances, if you think your wife is the biggest whore, you think your husband's the biggest abuse, you do not want to pass that information on to your child. Yeah. Because it is of no use for a child to think, oh, well, I came from half whore stock or I came from half monster stock. Right. And I'm not saying that, like, obviously, if you got a real abuser who's like beating the shit out of people or sexually, that's different. I'm talking about just, you know, and the idea is like they'll figure it out themselves as they grow older. And then you won't have to be the person that, you know, made the scales fall from their eyes. So I could see that Cooper would still hold up a brave face and kind of like spare Janie from that horribleness, especially since they're living under threat of constant nuclear evaporation too. But is she dead? Is she alive? Is he going to find his wife? Is he going to find Hank? I can't wait till him and Hank meet, man. That's going to be
oh God. Yeah.
Pretty spectacular. I'm not saying we've resorted to eating human flesh, but if you support the podcast at support.baldmove.com, we won't have to. We're back with more tales from the wasteland with the Fallout Boys. All right, Jim. Did we get any feedback to our Fallout address?
Yeah, we got a few people here who wrote in to talk about their love of the games, essentially. And I thought we'd give some voice to that because, I don't know, I was thinking about maybe trying to play the games at some point.
You ever thought about doing a live stream of the game? Is that,
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this could be in response to you saying that the last week.
I started something.
Yeah, whenever you said that. But we'll start off with Adam in Cincinnati, who says, not necessarily feedback, and I get it if they're not your thing, but if you enjoy turn-based RPGs, even a little bit, I highly recommend playing Fallout 1 and 2 sometime. I recognize the opinion of one random internet stranger is meaningless, but the writing is excellent, they're a lot of fun, and they probably cost like $3 at this point. Plus, the Enclave VP Dan Bird made me learn all about Dan Quayle as a kid. So that's got to count for something, right?
Indiana's own Dan Quayle?
I guess so.
What did he spell wrong? Potato or tomato? I can't remember which one, but I know that, you know, Indiana finally got a vice president on a national stage, and the only thing anyone knows about him is that he couldn't spell potato.
Oh, man. Dan Quayle
Indiana,
was like...
everybody.
not before I was alive, but like before I gave a shit about who Dan Quayle was. So
Yeah.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just random internet strangers. It's a lot of video game journalists I respect, and no less august a persona than my son said, "Dad, have you actually played any of these Fallout games?" Because he's into Fallout 4 and having just a great old time. So I don't know.
Nice.
I think I owned them. Like, I would be shocked if I do not own them on Steam. I just haven't played them. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Another person who would concur is Brad. He says, I absolutely love this IP. It's strongly one of my favorites of all time. I'm a longtime player of the game series, putting in more hours than I should probably admit. I went back and I looked at my total time for each game. Here are the results. Fallout 1, 289 hours. And that's the least. Fallout 2, 311. Fallout 3, 397. Fallout 4, 469. Come out with Fallout 5, you'll be playing it until the sun dies. I don't know.
What the
Keeps
hell?
going up. I went into this series super excited and also knew that there was no way that it would be perfect. And knowing that, I knew there would be some inconsistencies with the games. That being said, I'm 100% fine with that. I just love being in that world and learning about new characters. Thanks for going back and covering season 1. It's been fun to listen. That's a good attitude.
Yeah.
I like that. Just like, yeah, there'll be inconsistencies, but it's an expansion on the lore in certain ways, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that's something about being younger, is being a little bit more precious about the things you care about and people getting it just wrong. And I guess the thing that got me over it is that when I was a kid, universally, if they made a comic book movie or a video game movie or an adaptation of a beloved science fiction series, they would just fucking butcher it. I'm back from, like, I was pleasantly surprised that Jurassic Park didn't suck, but it's also nothing. It just bears a vague similarity to its actual book. And man, Michael Crichton really comes off like a Congo. My God, if you've seen a movie Congo, you'd think it's a clown show, but the book is actually really good. Nowadays, I feel like people are so spoiled because we are getting good adaptations that people become, even more critical about things that get wrong. And I get it. Like, they're definitely in early goings of Game of Thrones before it turned into a trash fire, where it's like, I'm not sure why they didn't just go with the original dialogue, because it's kind of iconic and uniquely cool. Why they have to put their spin on it, this and that, but nothing major. And that's like, until the time discrepancy or whatever causes a story problem, although on the other hand, I do understand the purist is like, well, why don't you just get the date right? And I'm like, I guess I would only be annoyed with that if we complete the series and there is a time discrepancy that is not explained otherwise. Because I did see that, I don't understand these references because I'm not a player, but I was reading some of the historical threads of people discussing this episode of Fallout amongst themselves, gamers. I forgot to mention this, but guess what? Feedback, all spoilers. So if you're like, oh, A.Ron forgot, you must not be spoiling. Nope, I'm about to drop a spoiler, I guess. In this episode, or in the episode set 6, Lucy sees this chalkboard that has a whole history of Shady Sands and the New California Republic. Someone said that, like, they mentioned that there's like a fall of Shady Sands and then some years later a nuke, and people were wondering if, like, that discrepancy, like when the town fell versus when it was exterminated with a bomb, is a little wiggle room that they can give to keep matching up the events of the game to the series. But again, I will say that, yes, I don't know why they wouldn't just use the right chronology unless it's going to be important to the plot and we'll understand why they did it later. So, but to complain about it in an otherwise pretty fucking good first season, and I get it, like a lot of the game purists, they have a lot more complaints about it than just the timelines. But again, it all seemed pretty kind of cosmetic and not and gameplay related, not character and story related.
Yeah, I think about what you said about, like, some of the there's an age where you sort of get very precious about this stuff, and I feel like that's true because there is also an age before that where you're just gathering information. Like, I can think of a million different ways in which there are inconsistencies in Star Trek, especially now that we've gone back to the original series and looked at that with a microscope. It's a trash fire. It's a garbage, complete massacre of the timeline, and character names and everything. But when you're first getting into something, you don't give a shit about any of that. It's all you're collecting and you're going, oh, that's different. That's not what I expect. Okay. And then you're creating headcanon. You're excited and having fun with those inconsistencies as opposed to letting them piss you off and ruin your time. Stay in that mentality more, where it's like, okay, these are new weird inconsistencies and they're fun to point out, and I don't get mad about them. I just still enjoy, like Brad's saying here, all the extra that I get, and can still like point at those inconsistencies and go, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like I get a little less gripped up about stuff when I realize that like nothing they can do can destroy my understanding of the source material, right? At worst they can maybe destroy my mental image of how a character looks and sounds. But mostly, yeah, they're not going to be able to violate the Fallout canon. And that's the other thing, is like a lot of people pointed out, which seems to make sense to me, this is a computer role-playing game. What is the Fallout canon? Is it the ending that most players ended at? Is it the ending that like the developer had in mind as the good ending? Is it, because it's my understanding that like the games are kind of open-ended, and most of these things kind of slightly change how things end in the continuity based on how well you do as a character, how bad you do as a character. So like I even want to reject the whole premise out of that. It's like, well, a million people played this game. You could have a million different understandings of the ending.
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway.
And finally, we got Tyler, who says, "Hey guys, been listening since the days of Where's My Dragon?" that old Game of Thrones chestnut.
Oh, shit. That was season. That was the big season 2, the Quarth. Where's my dragons?
Yeah, I think so. And Tyler says he enjoys the Fall Out Boy style intro. So there's one more vote.
Secondly, tally mark for one enjoyer.
I'm a huge Fallout fan, but I started with Fallout 3. Yes, I've also sunk hundreds of hours into the Fallout series, but you don't have to. You can breeze through the main story at a decent pace. It's the numerous side quests and, in Fallout 4's case, base building that take the real time. As far as the first-person shooter aspect, I believe the percentage thing only matters on the VATS special attack. It's basically an auto-aim function that you can send shots that can get the bullet camera effect. It's also based on visibility of the target, but if you don't use the VATS attack, then yes, you can shoot, you shotgun your way through a band of raiders just like any first-person shooter. Interesting. Does that make you more likely to want to try it?
I don't know. The other guy that was extolling his virtues still called it wasn't it a turn-based shooter? I'm sorry. That just seems completely it just seems like it's completely against it. I don't know. Like I said, it's not my bag of tea, not my can of caviar, not my I don't know. But that's not the only thing keeping me from playing it. I also tend to be adverse to games where people describe putting hundreds of hours. The last time I got that is last time that happened to me as I was playing Destiny, and the only reason I got into that is because my 6-year-old was playing it, and we essentially grew up playing that. And then because I had fucking 1,700 hours combined in Destiny 2, but most of those were playing, like at least half of it I was playing with my kid, so I got to write it off as quality time. Although I guess if he's in Fallout 4, maybe I can just have him. Maybe I can have him stream and I'll just watch him play.
There you go.
That's what I want to do. I just want my 19-year-old with his superior reflexes and his malleable brain that can learn new game mechanics to take me through a guided bonus points. If I ask him, hey, what happens if you fuck around with that guy, and he fucks around with that guy? I don't really like that when I'm playing couch co-op. But we'll see.
Give it a shot. That's all I got for this week.
All right, that's going to do it for our podcast today. Fallout@baldmove.com if you'd like to send us some spoilery feedback. If you'd like to support us, check us out, support.baldmove.com to find out how you can get ad-free feeds and so much more, including access to our fabulous Discord community at baldmove.discord.com. Stop by, check it out. We got spoiler threads, non-spoiler threads, covering all the shows you love. We'd love to have you there. That's going to be it. We have got episode 5 coming up next week as we're counting down, preparing for season 2 of Fallout. Until then, I'm your host, A.Ron.
And I'm Jim.
See ya.
Down to a vault underground, and we're doing cousin stuff in it. We've got your weekly dose of bullshit, a loaded podcast now down. We're going down to a